Well, Islam, there's certainly been some changes in your life in the past couple of hours. When did you find out that Renato Moicano would be stepping in instead of the original matchup?
After the official weigh-in, I go to my room, eat something, drink something, and Ali come to me with some news, It was crazy, but happy I have fight, still fighting. That's it. No, it doesn't matter who is gonna be, but I'm gonna fight.
UFC 311 was a night packed with unforgettable moments, but behind the spectacle lay a shadow of loss that few saw coming. Dana White opened up about the passing of something deeply personal to him, a symbol of strength and pride that left an irreplaceable void in his life. Let's dive in. The emotional weight surrounding UFC 311 began far from the octagon. Just as anticipation for the event was building, Dana White delivered news that no one expected. His beloved bull, Twisted Steel, had passed away after battling ongoing health issues. While the details of the bull's illness weren't shared publicly, the impact on Dana was impossible to miss. For years, Twisted Steel had been more than just a competitor in the professional bull rider circuit, it had been a symbol of strength and dominance. The bull had become something of a legend in its own right, adored by fans for its raw power and impeccable performance. For Dana, Twisted Steel wasn't just an animal but a companion and a source of immense pride. Its legacy was deeply intertwined with his own love for the sport. Losing it wasn't just heartbreaking, it was personal. Dana's grief spilled over onto social media, where he shared an emotional message about Twisted Steel's passing. The PBR community came together to honor the bull, sharing a touching tribute on Instagram that resonated with fans across both sports. In Texas, where Twisted Steel spent its final days, it passed away peacefully, leaving behind a legacy that Dana will undoubtedly cherish forever. The loss hit hard, not just because of the bond Dana shared, but because Twisted Steel represented resilience and dominance, qualities Dana admires both in and out of the octagon. It was a poignant reminder that even the strongest forces are not invincible. But even as Dana mourned, he had to carry on. The UFC is a relentless machine, and with UFC 311 just around the corner, there was no time to pause. Renato Moicano's brave move. The original lightweight title bout between Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan was widely considered one of the most exciting matchups the UFC had planned for the year. Fans had been eagerly awaiting the rematch between the two fighters, especially given their history. Years ago, when Arman first faced Islam, he had pushed the now champion to his limits, earning immense respect from fans and analysts alike. This time, with the title on the line, it felt like the stakes couldn't be higher. The matchup promised to be a masterclass in technical skill, and fans were poised to witness history in the making. But what happens when an event of this magnitude suddenly falls apart? The UFC's plans were thrown into chaos just hours before the event. News broke that Arman had suffered a back injury while cutting weight, forcing him to withdraw, leaving the event in jeopardy. The injury couldn't have come at a worse time. Arman had worked tirelessly to earn his shot at the title, and the prospect of seeing him go toe-to-toe with one of the most dominant champions in the sport had fans buzzing. But as the disappointment set in, the UFC scrambled to find a replacement. In stepped Renato Moicano, a fighter known for his entertaining style and willingness to take risks. Moicano had been preparing for a bout with Beneil Dariush, but with Arman out, he was offered the chance of a lifetime, a shot at the lightweight title. For Moicano, this was a do-or-die moment, one that could elevate him to superstardom if he succeeded. The odds were stacked against him, but his reputation for stepping into the fire made the announcement thrilling for fans. It was an opportunity few would dare to take on such short notice, but Moicano embraced it with open arms, determined to make the most of his unexpected shot. The decision to replace Arman with Moicano didn't just alter the course of the event, it reshaped the entire narrative of the main event. Suddenly, what was supposed to be a historic rematch between two of the division's best fighters became a test of adaptability and courage. Moicano had less than 24 hours to mentally and physically prepare for the challenge of facing Islam Makhachev, a fighter widely regarded as the pound-for-pound king of MMA. Dana White himself praised Moicano for stepping up, emphasizing the level of bravery it takes to face an opponent like Islam on such short notice. And for fans, the storyline became less about the rankings and more about the sheer unpredictability of the sport. When the lights dimmed and fight night finally arrived, the atmosphere inside the Intuit Dome in California was electric. Fans knew they were about to witness something unique. Moicano, ever the showman, carried himself with confidence as he walked to the octagon, despite the enormous odds stacked against him. He later admitted that he was determined to shock the world, and for a moment, it seemed like he might actually do it. In the early exchanges of the fight, Moicano held his own, landing a few clean punches that demonstrated his sharp striking. He revealed afterward that his strategy had been to keep the fight standing, knowing that Makhachev's grappling was on another level. For a brief moment, hope flickered among the crowd, but Makhachev, as always, had other plans. The reigning lightweight champion remained calm and methodical, waiting for the perfect opportunity to impose his game. And when that opportunity came, he capitalized on it with surgical precision. In a single fluid motion, Islam executed a perfectly timed takedown, dragging Moicano into his world. What followed was a masterclass in grappling. Moicano later admitted that he had underestimated how quickly Makhachev could turn a scramble into a submission. The Brazilian had been influenced by the crowd, who began to boo when the fight hit the mat. Feeling the pressure to entertain, he attempted to create space and return to his feet, but this proved to be his undoing. Makhachev set a trap so subtle that it caught even the experienced Moicano off guard. As Moicano tried to stand, Makhachev allowed him just enough room to expose his neck. Within seconds, the champion locked in a flawless Darche choke, leaving Moicano no choice but to tap. The fight was over in less than a round, a result that left fans both in awe of Makhachev's skill and heartbroken for Moicano, who had put everything on the line. Could anyone have escaped such a perfectly executed submission from one of the most dominant champions in UFC history? After the fight, Moicano reflected on what went wrong. Speaking on his YouTube channel, he candidly broke down the sequence of events that led to his defeat. He admitted that his desire to please the crowd clouded his judgment, causing him to abandon his game plan. Moicano explained that Makhachev's ability to manipulate the situation and create openings was unlike anything he had experienced before. The Brazilian gave credit where it was due, describing the choke as perfectly executed and acknowledging that he had been outsmarted. He expressed frustration at himself for falling into Makhachev's trap, admitting that his impatience to return to his feet played right into the champion's hands. Despite the loss, Moicano remained optimistic, vowing to learn from the experience and come back stronger. His humility and honesty in defeat earned him respect from fans who appreciated his willingness to face the music. For Moicano, this fight was a hard lesson, but one he believed would fuel his evolution as a fighter. For Makhachev, the fight was another step in his journey to cementing his legacy as one of the greatest fighters of all time. In a post-fight interview, he spoke about the challenges of preparing for a last-minute replacement. Despite the sudden change in opponents, Makhachev made it clear that he had trained for any possibility. He called Moicano predictable, but also expressed respect for the Brazilian's willingness to step up and fight. For Islam, it wasn't just about winning the fight, it was about proving once again why he's the reigning pound-for-pound king. His performance at UFC 311 left no doubt that he's operating on a level far beyond the competition. The fallout from UFC 311 raises several questions about the lightweight division's future. Arman Tsarukyan, who was originally supposed to challenge for the title, now faces an uncertain timeline for recovery. Will he get another shot at Makhachev when he's healthy? And what about Renato Moicano? While the loss was undoubtedly a setback, his willingness to take such a high-risk fight earned him immense respect from fans and the UFC brass. Dana White has always valued fighters who step up in difficult situations, and it's likely that Moicano's career will benefit from this experience, even if the result wasn't in his favor. In many ways, UFC 311 was a microcosm of what makes MMA so captivating. It showcased the unpredictability of the sport, the bravery of its athletes, and the raw emotion that comes with victory and defeat. From Dana White's personal loss to Makhachev's flawless performance, the event was filled with moments that reminded fans why they love the UFC. It was a night of highs and lows, of triumph and heartbreak, and one that won't soon be forgotten. Can anyone challenge Makhachev's dominance? And will Moicano rise again to prove that he belongs among the division's elite? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. The story of UFC 311 is far from over. Smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest UFC action. Hit that bell icon so you're always ringside for every twist, turn, and takedown.